Hey, what's up? It's Cody the Coin Raptor, and I want to talk to you about Ark Invest's new monthly Bitcoin report. So you can find this on their website. Now, we're going to go here to some of the parts that I find the most interesting, starting here with the market summary. So Bitcoin is still having trouble in this macro environment where we have record inflation and the Fed raising interest rates, as well as a potential recession on the horizon. Ark Invest is bearish on the macro picture, they are neutral on the chain activity, and they are bullish on the market sentiment. Okay, and we're going to go over here to another thing that I think is really interesting here is they also point out that Bitcoin has had 9 consecutive weekly declines for the first time in history. So, and most of this selling was largely driven by the Terra Luna collapse. They also point out that Bitcoin's correlation with the S&P 500 is at an all-time high. However, I would suggest personally that the correlation with the Nasdaq is much higher than the S&P 500. I've done multiple posts on this on my Twitter account, but generally, institutional investors see Bitcoin as a risk-on asset, and this is a risk-off market, which means many of them have been selling. The next part I want to show you is the DXY chart. Now, they talk about the dollar index, or the DXY, which is generally used to measure the strength of the dollar. Bitcoin trades at an inverse to a dollar, so a rise in the DXY would subsequently mean a fall in Bitcoin. And here we have the DXY basically reaching an 8-year high. So consequently, Bitcoin has been falling. The next slide here, they point out that Bitcoin could have a downside risk that still exists here, both at the 200-week moving average at about 22,000 and the cost basis or the realized price at about 24,000. Now, these are both things that I talk about on my Twitter account, but the thesis behind it is that they could potentially retest these levels if it keeps falling, and it could find support there. Next, they point out that the Terra Luna crash wiped out $60 billion of market capitalization, or about 2.7% of the total market cap. However, they also pointed out that it wasn't as impactful as the Mt. Gox hack that stole 5.7% of the crypto market cap. So it's not the worst event in crypto history. Now, next, I'll show you, this chart shows the selling pressure of the Luna Foundation Guard. And the Luna Foundation Guard bought all this Bitcoin in order to use it as a reserve to prevent the Terra stablecoin from depegging. And so they bought all this, they bought up to 80,000 here, and they sold all of it in a very short time span. So this was a huge point of selling pressure on the Bitcoin price, and now Bitcoin's been decoupled from that. They no longer have any more Bitcoin in reserve. And also, I'm going to show you here, another thing that's really important is that Bitcoin holders are more long-term focused. So about 66% of Bitcoin supply has not moved in a year. Now that's remarkable, because what this tells me is that there's probably going to be some level of some floor, some base level of support to prevent Bitcoin from going down back to, say, $1,000 or so. But there's definitely a base level of support here in which long-term hodlers are keeping the coins, and they're not moving them to exchanges, and they're waiting for positive price action to potentially sell them. Okay. Now, most of the actual selling has been done by short-term hodlers, which is consistent with the belief that many of these are institutional investors looking to make a short-term profit. That's what I've seen. Next, we're going to talk about Bitcoin open interest, which is the number of Bitcoin futures contracts that are open and this is currently at a yearly high. And now what this means is that we could see additional volatility to the upside and the downside in the Bitcoin price. Now, that's my quick summary of the Ark Invest monthly report. If you enjoy this content and want to see more, please like and subscribe, and check out my Twitter account @TheCoinRaptor for more content. Thank you very much. Your time is valuable. Have a good day.